3.
So we hit record.
2.
Check.
1.
Might want to plug in your computer.
If I don't have anything to share.
Okay.
What if I don't feel inspired?
Check.
Check, 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 check.
That Chipotle is really getting to me. Talking to your mic?
Hello. Greetings. Salutations.
Heck yeah. We are leveling up this production quality.
Boy, oh boy.
And everybody is late.
Watch, this is the one call that like nobody shows up for. Now it's you and me having to have a conversation.
Oh, nope. Check.
Okay, so we're still going to have to look there for everything.
Yeah, that's where everybody's going to show up.
It's a really tiny screen.
I know. We're going to have to get a bigger screen.
I almost need to... Can I log in still?
Yeah. Yeah, you can log into yours as long as make sure your audio is good. Yeah. I'm going to be back. I'm going to get waters.
Let's see if this works. So if I keep my audio off.
We are working the kinks out. This is...
You know what? No, let's do this. I'm just going to come in closer so I can see that thing better.
Oh yeah, it'll work.
That'll solve this.
I hear a child. Is there a child? For a second, I thought you made that noise.
He's training them up young in the music business. Start them young. Yeah, I'm coming in more so I can see what's going on. Nice, dude.
I'm gonna hit record.
Share the screen. Share the screen. Let's see the album artwork. Trace, did you do the pre-save through DistroKid? Okay. Okay. Have you looked into Feature yet? Nice. Okay, I plan on doing, I should probably do that this week, doing a full walkthrough of Feature FM and putting that in the social media course. We also just added like an hour and a half strategy content call number 2 with Eleni into the social media curriculum, talking about the results that she's gotten and like how many, just all the data and everything behind it. It's cool to start formulating all that together, but yeah, it's cool that you know you're heading that direction. Awesome. So this is the beautiful thing about it is we are live, right? You got this going live?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're running. We're
Cool.
rolling.
The beautiful thing is that, so I'll give you an example. So we work with our distributor STEM, who they were creating our pre-save links for us and sending us those. And then we started having one going viral. So we actually finally started paying attention to all the data. And we're like, whoa, what is this? This is awesome. Okay. And then we realized, I was like, it was like midnight as usual when I'm getting my primetime work done, texting Joey knowing, well, he's not going to see these for like 8 hours. So, well, anyway, how would you know such things? Come on.
That is dope.
Dude, that is actually fire. Thank you. Love that. Which AIs did you use? Sorry, everybody. We'll put a pin in what I was saying. We need to figure out how Trace made that. Cool.
Dang.
And how much did it cost you? Mm-hmm. So you were saying 200 is like the yearly subscription?
The artist.
Oh, this was originally a tattoo. Did I miss that?
Mm-hmm. He drew the ship.
Okay, so you were really intent on that specific. Yeah. I got you. Can they see my screen, Joey?
Here, let me flip it.
Yeah, let me know how
this one? Yeah,
that one. Can you guys see this? This is a cool one that we just had made up for Klein's album called Deeper Living, and this is through Midjourney. And I'm thinking when we do the AI course and everything that I'll do a walkthrough of Midjourney because that's one that I've been using for creating cover art. Yeah, how am I supposed to toggle between?
What do you want to toggle through?
Well, I guess it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I got you.
Anyways, this one's 100% AI. And I'm telling you, they just keep getting better and better and better. And like but like yours having a little human element and then taking that human element and being able to drastically improve it in a way that like you almost can't do as a human. Like it's brilliant. It's fantastic. Yeah, I'm good. That's the only thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Whoa.
That's so cool.
Can you make them walk the plank? Is there a prompt for that? A Jack Sparrow prompt? Goodness. That's incredible. What was I saying before we got into the cover art again?
We're talking about pre-saves. Was it about pre-saves?
I know it had to do with feature. We're on a very specific thing with that. Yes. Yeah, so don't stop the one on DistroKid. Just start another one on feature. So this is what happened with us. We learned that for example, Lenny, this was your link that I was telling you about, was we started accruing data and learning that, oh, this data is actually really valuable to Compound. And then we're like, wait a second, where's this data being stored? Oh, it's being stored in a folder under the account of our distributor. I'm like, so it's not ours. So like long term, what are we supposed to do with that? I was like, that's a problem. So immediately we went, made our own account at midnight. Joey's asleep, so made an executive decision on this one. But basically restarted the links, but kept the ones that were already created still running, so that they still triggered everything that they needed to trigger, and then started to only use these new ones going forward to build all the data and everything that we truly own 100% outright. And then I actually called and got in touch with their team and had a few meetings, and they're going to be able to take that data from the Feature FM account that is owned by STEM, and they're going to move that into our account. They can't combine the two, but now we know like things are movable. So maybe there even is a world, I don't know, where eventually you could merge something from, I don't know if it would work that well from a DistroKid to a different company like Feature. But regardless, just know that if you do move over, you can always then go just make another future save link, because we're talking future saves, right? Is that the value of this? How many future saves did you get off of those pre-saves? No future saves. Okay, I was just asking because I'm not caught up on DistroKid these days. Okay, so then you're not in a bad spot anyways, because after this one, yeah, after you're done with this single, it starts over at 0 again anyways. Okay. Yeah.
You're not really losing a whole lot in terms of the future save. So
yeah.
And it sounds like it's pretty much just creating two different landing pages. It's just one landing page was owned by us, and then the other one was owned by our distributor, but it's still all connecting to Spotify with as far as all the saves and all the platforms, but we just didn't have any of our own data. But there wasn't anything like conflicting with the two other than the fact we couldn't see emails and stuff like that were trickling in.
At the end of the day, it's just you want to own your own data. So as we're still in this mindset of like building this curriculum out of how we want this flow to be for everybody, it's like, man, if we could go back to day one of our career, like, could you imagine accumulating every fan and filing them into their exact streaming platform as a future save and with their email and stacking that over 8 years? It's like, like the power that you get to have, and it's incredible. So that's why we're kind of obsessing pretty heavily over this right now. And yeah, we're using Eleni's music and it as the guinea pig here, the example.
I think even back in the day, we didn't really think that email would still be around, but it seems like it's here more than ever. Like people still check their emails and stuff like that. And the fact that we could have then taken all of those emails and plugged them into ads platforms like Meta and Google and actually retargeted. The other thing too is like we didn't know that, Meta would, for example, in our case, pull the targeting from Christian, we couldn't target anybody, even Christian artists, bigger Christian artists, like they recently pulled that. We used to be able to target like Lauren Daigle and For King and Country and like try to find audiences that like them, but they were tied so close to religion that they just like pulled all of those targeting. But the workaround for that is having a giant email list that you have of your ideal listener that they can then go, blast that to and try to find people that look just like them. So that's why we're so heavy on this whole pre-save thing, but also collecting those emails.
Because think about this. And Aaron, I don't know if you've played around with this or kind of wrapped your head around this with what you're doing with Facebook meta ads, but there is the ability to upload an email list and tell it to create a lookalike audience that looks similar in interest to the qualities and the interests of the people that you upload. This is how much data Facebook has on you guys, on the world, by the way. It's pretty crazy. So these, like, let's use Lenny as an example. So if we get these 1,100 emails, which we did, we'll get way more, right? As we keep stacking those goals to keep getting more and more and more. But as that gets bigger and bigger, yes, we can follow up and we can email them with the album and other stuff that we're doing with the Lenny. Like we can do all that stuff. But we could also then take that, upload it to Meta Ads Manager and say, hey, we have an album that we want you to, or a song, the top song that we want to run all the traffic to on Spotify. Here's an email list of 1,000 people. Go find us 1 million people that look exactly like these people. And then they're going to look at this 1,000 interest and realize the overlapping category is clearly Christian music and like religious beliefs and stuff like that. And then they'll go find that in all these different countries. And then we could say, okay, cool. Now just make it US. Or now make sure nobody in Canada hears this because we don't want anybody in Canada to hear this song. And then we can make those. It's a new step. You could hear that? You could hear that, Lenny? Shoot, that wasn't. Checks. Snuffed. That's actually true. We do have a lot of Canadians in the group. Yeah, but you're the only one here tonight. I speak for the trees.
For the Canadians.
I speak for the Canadians. Did you catch that reference? What is it? The movie? The Mandalorian.
Oh, wrong one.
We've got.
I can't turn it off. I can't turn it off.
This is the first time we're trying to do this in person. We're figuring this out as we go.
Out. We've got brand new stuff.
What was that movie?
The Lorax? Are we talking about the Lorax here?
It was the Lorax. Yeah. Applause.
Oh.
Dang it, Joey, you had one job. Nope.
What?
We're going to have to label everything. Well, okay. This has been great. Annie, Aaron, how are you guys doing? Oh, nice. Okay. Annie, you eating dinner as well? Is that a light behind you?
She has a new background.
Is that a light? I like that. That's nice. Whew. Yeah. Wait. What was the homework again?
What was the homework?
Who's what? What? Oh, similar content. See, that was you hit it that time.
That was great.
Good.
Yeah, I found the button. Got the right one.
And what'd you learn? Well, actually, okay, wait. Let me put a pin in that one. That's going to be the very next thing we talk about. To finish off with you, Annie. So, what is your next step here? So, to be clear, it is your worship collective. Wow, I'm bumping everything. Your worship collective partnering with this organization event that brings 500-600 people weekly to this thing to have you guys be the worship group collective leading worship for the event. So they won't share ownership at all with the collective, right? This will be something that you run and operate solely. Okay.
Are you able to live record it? Like multi-track record everything? Yeah, the music. Yeah. It's kind of cool. It's cool that you guys do it so frequently. Like it'd be cool if you live recorded some stuff and spliced it together with some video or something. Mm-hmm.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and Trace can speak into this too because I know they did a live recording, but my understanding is you definitely retrack vocals. Although we've heard instances where people don't retrack vocals. I think, Jason, what was Zach saying? Because Zach produced a lot of the Mav City stuff, the live stuff. And he was talking about, which we actually recorded. Yeah. We recorded that call, and it's in the school group. He was talking about that, and he said, like,
some of Chandler's stuff
like
is just
Chandler and Naomi,
spot on.
they're like, they're so good that they don't have to
And they're
go
running,
back.
and they're like running and jumping and like sweating up a storm, and they're still hitting their notes spot on. Like,
So it is possible, but I have heard a lot of instances where they go retrack vocals, and there's nothing wrong with that either. And then I know too, I was a part of a live recording one time, and they had me come back and re-record guitars.
because he did really
I
badly the
sucked
first
so bad. No, we only had 2 of us on stage, but the Phil Wick. If you ever look at the Phil Wickham tracks, there's like 8 to 10 more electric tracks. So we did a lot of that stuff to just fatten up the sound.
But well, except Chandler and Naomi.
Yeah, we'll give it to him.
Yep. Everybody else. Yep.
We'll give it to him.
The other thought there though, Annie, was if you're able to, as you start to scale this up, this being a weekly thing, if you can find a way to capture content, could be a really cool way for you to start growing this brand, this collective of, hey, every week I have this many videos that I can upload from the previous worship night. And you might not get to make tons of like the monetization and everything from these, right? With the copyrights, if a lot of them are covers, and you know how that whole game works. But that's one of the early things for brands is like, okay, how do we find a way to conveniently and affordably and like logistically make as much good content for the brand and for the audience we're trying to attract? It's like, oh, well, if we're at a worship night every week, there's an opportunity there for either one, to record for content, or even 2, potentially, if you can get a high enough quality, release it on streaming. And that's a little bit trickier.
Trace has experience with that. I want to get his
Trace
his
has
feedback on that.
literally done this with his camp worship shows. So he's talking like backing tracks. Do you use any of those? Or are you just playing everything just only on the instruments?
Like raw.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's wild.
How? Okay.
Too late. Too late. Diana, clip this.
Just for-
Clip it.
For entertainment purposes.
Quote it. It's like a picture of Trace's face, and it's like, it was all my idea, is the text.
I'm the guy. I'm
I
him.
came up with all of this. It's,
Yeah, there you go. That's where we cover up
he's like
your
in
face.
jail. He's got like jail bars.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Ashley, Sylvia, welcome. Glad you made it. Wait, this is for Ashley. This is Ashley's first call. Welcome, Ashley. Does everybody know Ashley? I was just asking if everybody knew who you were. No? Yeah, give him a quick intro, Ashley. Putting you on the spot. And you're muted. When did we meet? How long has it been? Yeah. With Trace. You were one of the OGs way back with Trace, right?
Appreciate you guys for putting up with Jason
Okay.
all these years.
Okay. Yep.
How many of you have family and friends that understand your lifestyle and what you're trying to do with your career? Yeah. Nobody.
I have you.
Our parents are waiting for us to get a real job.
Yeah. Still, probably. Yeah.
So I think
nobody
just,
knows what
just
I do.
that alone is just helpful to make us not go crazy trying to do this whole music thing.
No, for real. Like, take away all of the actual support that this community exists to offer for tangible steps for your career and everything. Oh, we lost her. Well,
She's back.
she's back. Oh, interesting. Well, basically, I was saying, for all the logical things that this community exists to help with careers and everything, there's a part of it that kind of just keeps us all sane, getting on here every week and talking through everything you're going through as an artist. And just kind of let's be real, we all kind of live our own lives compared to the average person, like we were saying. And yeah, I don't think my family still has any clue what I do, and I have explained it many times. I'm like, it's obvious, guys. Come on, like.
Plus, I think it's cool that we have a lot of non-Nashville people. Like, I think that's what originally drew us to Nashville, was that there's just a lot of people here that are all trying to do the same thing, and so has kept us sane. But also, it makes you feel like you're in a sea of people. Just there's that whole side of things, but. I think that's really cool seeing a lot of people in this group that are not in a music city, and I think it's going to be beneficial for that. So
Ashley, let me follow up to what you just said then. So what are you working on currently in your season of music, career, goals, things that you're running into, maybe problems or whatever? Would love to hear where you're at. Cool. 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 Yep. Wait. Oh no, keep going. Oh. You should be able to pre-save the album as a whole. Because so
You said it's an album? Like an EP type thing?
probably an EP. That's a great
That's a really, we have
question.
not tried that scenario yet.
Let me quick pull something up. Different. But we can talk about that too. So maybe I can to understand this correctly. So you're saying how many of the songs have already been released out of the 6? Was she gone? She cut out.
She bounced.
Because
That's a good question.
let's say 5 of them have released already, and 1 is left. When you're going into Feature FM, you should still be able to create the new thing, which is the EP, because it has a new USPC code or UPC code. I mean, not USPC.
It would still behave
UPC
like
code.
still behave like an album.
So it should still be able to. Oh, good, you're back. Okay. How much of that did you hear? You wouldn't lose it. Those could still stay up as singles. This would just be an EP that is also up. Does that make sense? So where are you distributing through right now? DistroKid. Okay. So those 5 singles are already distributed, let's say.
They're live.
And they're live. Then let's say you have one more single that you're finishing up, and then you're going to take that and you're going to add it to those 5, and you're going to turn these 6 songs into an EP, and you're going to call it something, and you're going to release that. That new thing will have a brand new UPC code, so it'll be a new product. And you can take that code, and that is what you can go into Feature FM with, create a brand new link, like a pre-save link, and then with that pre-save link, that is where you can start accruing all the data there. So now, when that thing goes live, I would assume it would probably, I'm not certain on this because we haven't released a full album yet, but I would assume the song that hasn't released yet would at least be the one to get added and saved and pre-saved and build all these future saves up. I don't know if those saves would also accrue to songs that have already released. If anybody has experienced that, feel free to jump in, because this is technically our first run with Feature FM.
That's why it's difficult to answer, because the singles and the songs that you decided to add to the EP when they're released, like, they're together, but they're also separate. So when you drop the EP, the singles will stay live unless you wanted to pull the singles at a later date. But my understanding is it would be a new project, even though the songs are already out except for a handful. And that would be a new savable project.
It's
that people can pre-save with the new artwork and stuff like that as one giant project.
Yeah, the only question is so with Feature FM, specifically when they pre-save, they also save the song typically to add it to their playlists. And I don't know if it'll add all 6 songs to their playlists or if it'll just focus on the one brand new one in the package. I'm not totally sure. But it would make sense that they would still be notified of the project, which means if they are notified and they go listen to one, they'll probably listen to a few more of them, which would be beneficial. Does any of that make sense? Okay. So you've looked into Feature FM? Okay. Yeah. If any of you in here haven't gone into the classroom section, you go into the curriculums, into the artist roadmap, and then go into the social media music strategy course. We've added a few more things there and that we're constantly adding more information to and like building out this flow. And you'll see in some of those, we added screenshots of some of the results that we were getting on Eleni's last song. And it's pretty wild what they have actually been able to do with these links now, because it's not just a pre-save. Well, it's not just pre-saves on Spotify. They're also pre-saving on Apple Music and Amazon Music. They're not even just doing that. They're following on Spotify. They're following on Amazon. They're following on Tidal and Deezer. They're following on YouTube. And they're building up the future saves across Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. And those two, Amazon and Apple, those have historically been the ones that are the trickiest to really build up a fan base on. And this seems like it's just the loophole to that. Just knowing that, hey, maybe yes, there's going to be times where content goes viral and you get to speed this process up, like is happening with us right now with Eleni. And granted, there's been years and years that we've put in building up to this point to be able to just hit the ground running. But think of it from like even like just a methodical consistency standpoint. Like if year after year or whatever, month after month, you continue to accrue and snowball that data, it's like it actually gives your career, your music trajectory an upward momentum by default. Do you know what I mean? It's like because you're not losing all your data and starting over from zero every time, which is what it has been up to this point, which is super frustrating.
And I can give you a little backstory on like what we've been up to the last 6 years. And the reason why it's so like mind blowing and groundbreaking for us is that we've been able to crack Spotify on our own. Like you go to our website and it's mostly Spotify related. We have not been able to crack Apple Music and Amazon and YouTube and start to fan out until this method, because before then, you know, with Apple and Amazon, your only real shot at that is either through your social medias, or you got to know somebody who's an editorial, who runs editorial playlists on Amazon or Apple. Their whole like algorithmic thing is like not even close to what we've been able to do on Spotify. With Spotify, you could build playlists, you can grow them, you can get organic listeners, and then Spotify will figure that out and they'll copy paste and they'll really push that stuff out through the algorithms and things like that, through all their algorithmic playlists. But like we just haven't seen anything close. And the reason why it's so groundbreaking for us is that this is an opportunity for fans to actually save the songs to their Apple Music, Amazon, and YouTube. And we can continue playing our Spotify thrills and our game, games with Spotify. But this is something where we can actually build on Apple and Amazon, all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, we're tracking all this in real time in that social media course that we're just constantly adding to. And, we're going to keep doing these updated calls with Eleni of like where the song's at, where the data is at, just showing you guys what we are seeing with it. But with her first song already, it does seem like it is translating across Apple, across Amazon, across Spotify, potentially across YouTube Music as well, like the big ones. So yeah, in my opinion, if an artist is starting from zero, this would be the first thing. I would treat it as like, it's just kind of a necessary expense. You'll probably need to pay the $20 a month subscription to get the future saves, I believe. But if you time it correctly, I know they're always running these 50% off your first year deals. And if you can time that, then it's like $100 for the year. So I don't see a way around it. That to me seems like a no-brainer for collecting all of this stuff, getting an email list, like getting all this data. It's just, it's too good to not be doing it. So highly recommend. Sooner the better. Yeah. Interesting.
You just had a call with them.
Well, so they already told us they were going to give us an affiliate code.
We don't have one
yet. I'm emailing with their team right now. I have to confirm that and figure that out, because they just, by the way, had a 50% offer, a 50% off discount over the holidays or something. I don't know if that's still running or not. But yeah, we will eventually have some sort of a affiliate code at the bare minimum for that. Because again, it takes a lot for something to be built into like our core music strategy. And this has it has very quickly become its own pillar that we're going to be spending 2026 on, really trying to develop this. And then once you really build this funnel out and build this strategy, then it's like, okay, I can either promote it and grow it with marketing ads, which cost money, or with organic free content and taking the time to test and create and grow it on that in that way. And that's what we're going to be developing probably over the course of 2026 for everybody. Any other thoughts? Good share.
I mean, the last thing for that is you could do really well on Spotify just by yourself. It's just you're going to hit a ceiling and you're going to be kind of stuck to that platform. And that's why we keep harping on social media, because that's like quite literally the only way that we've seen such a natural growth of the other platforms.
The other streaming platforms, yeah.
On Spotify, yeah, you could figure out how to run Facebook ads and things like that, grow your own playlists or run traffic to your Spotify. But at the end of the day, it's like in order to have kind of a more rounded, healthier brand overall is to grow your social medias and get your social media following that are fans of you to go to your streaming, and they pick whichever streaming they want so that you get a little bit more of a balance. So that's the game that we're playing in 2026. And I think the future safe thing is the answer.
And the reason, by the way, guys, is would you rather have all of your monthly income dependent on one pillar that can crumble when they decide to change an algorithm and give you a 50% haircut in 1 year? Or would you rather have that spread out equally amongst 4 or 5 or 6 of these streaming pillars? We've made the mistake of depending on one pillar. And so like this year, usually when we post our showcase numbers, it's cool. Like it does look impressive to say, wow, Mass Anthem did just shy of 100 million streams this year. Cool. But knowing that the previous year was 150 million, that's a 50% haircut. So it's like that's 50% in the wrong direction that we were not anticipating because they completely made a shift on their algorithm that we are just catching up to now with this new strategy, which is why we're all in on this new concept. But this new concept is also growing all the other platforms. And when we did have our worship album with Genevieve really hit on social media, and these videos seen by millions and millions and millions of people, that very quickly spread to all these other platforms as well. YouTube and even Pandora and Amazon and Apple and all that stuff. And because of it, you could kind of think about that thing as like having more, if it were a table, it's a more stable table. A more stable table.
Stable table.
There it is. It has more pillars, right? As opposed to like more legs, more pillars. If you knock one of those things, it's a Roman table. It has pillars. If you take one of those things out, it still stands. It can still support you. So that's where our mindset is these days, is how do we first develop Spotify? Yes. But now if we can develop Spotify and simultaneously potentially develop some of these other ones to help support, and then we take that leverage, and maybe if we're in the worship scene, we say, oh, wow, now is there another revenue stream potentially with multi-tracks or potentially with Loop Community? And we're not even talking touring or any of this stuff. We're talking this stuff that like works for us when we're sleeping. And that's the stuff that we're really intently trying to snowball and grow.
And that's the weird world that we live in with algorithms and things like that, because most of our streams happen from algorithm, and that was from our own Spotify playlists and our own listeners kind of giving the data that Spotify needed, and then it basically like tripled overnight, and we hit a new shelf, and it was a new high for us. But every year Spotify changes something in the algorithm. We're like, oh well, now if you do alternate versions of the same song, then we're not going to push it to your, which was it, release
radar.
They're always changing things. And so this is something that we're trying to figure out and teach you guys of how to explore other types of revenue streams that don't do this all the time. Because Spotify is going to do this because everything's algorithmic, and Apple would do this. So honestly, I think there's a really cool opportunity for artists with this whole school platform. I haven't figured out all of the inner workings that you could really leverage, but I think there's a potential better than like if you've ever tried doing a Patreon or things like that, where there's like a monthly way for artists to support you or for fans to support you. I think school has a really cool opportunity for that, but it's a way that you can kind of build your own community of fans and check in with them, just kind of exactly how we're doing this, and having regular meetups or whatever. So that could be another really great way. I think honestly for us, I think this is part of our strategy too, to have a little bit more stability in kind of the revenue while the Spotify kind of does its thing.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And that's the whole point of this school platform is we just want to lead by example and literally teach you everything that we're currently doing in our careers and how we're growing the company, funding our music, all these projects and everything that we're doing. And when we find something that feels like a cheat code, we want to share it and break it down and show you guys how you can implement it yourselves. And that's really the whole point of this. So like with school, it's an opportunity for us to take everything that we've spent the last 10 years learning and growing and doing all this hard work of having to figure out and neatly package it up into a community where we can offer, more clarity and perspective and support for artists who are earlier on in their journey. And then as you're in this community learning how this operates, you might realize, wait, I'm really gifted in X or Y or Z over here. What if I still am like here in this network learning how to grow my community, but then what if I started my own community on the off days where now I can share my gifts and help grow and actually be rewarded with money from that to now fund my music career? Like there's so many different ways that we can win here. And that's why we're literally working on a course right now of like all the different ways you can make money and fund your music career. And one of them will be, hey, you start a platform like School. I know there's other ones that are built more specifically for even artists, and there's a lot of ways you can do it. But yeah, this year we're just trying to lead by example. So you're going to see us doing a lot with social media and a lot around growing our platforms this year so that we can show you guys the results of, okay, this worked, this didn't. You should try this. You should try this.
And to give you a little bit of clarity of where our headspace is at, like, I think more now than ever, people are desperate for a real interperson interaction, a real person interaction. That's what I was trying to say. So like the more that we go into this whole AI world where it's like everything you see on social media might actually be fake. And it's like there's this desperate need for connection with people.
You'll know it's AI Joey if he never makes any mistakes.
When I start, what are you talking about?
I thought that was an authentic error, so we know that it's real.
That was authentic. I'm real.
We know it's real.
Pinch
AI
me.
Joey. Yeah.
Pinch me.
Yeah.
I'm human. So yeah, and so our headspace is at like, how do we deliver the most raw, authentic version of the content, whether it's live or on calls or like. You can make mistakes and people are like, oh, I feel that. That's a real connection I just had with and that's the whole thing, the whole argument with, AI music versus artists, real people. There's mistakes and things that can happen and inflections that happen in the voice that you can just feel, you can tell. And so if you kind of lean more into that, that's where we're headed with as all of our content for social media.
Yeah. That was a lot. Does that make sense?
That's where we're at.
Yep, she quick. She's quick with that math. Yes, it is. No, but actually think about that. So this rule of, have you guys heard of this rule of 1,000 fans, 1,000 true fans? Has everybody heard of that before?
I have.
Joey has heard of it.
I've heard of it.
Lenny, have you heard?
It's a book. I think I read it. It's a book.
Have you heard the bird? Trace got the reference. Oh no, Trace caught that reference. Yeah. I love how we just put her on the spotlight.
Yes. And I would like to add to it. A lot of us think we need millions and millions and millions of fans to like be successful, but you really just need 1,000 core ones that are like all Team Eleni. You really need like 1,000 of those people and you can have a career.
A very successful career.
Yeah.
So I don't. Oh, you're talking throughout the year? That's like what, $300,000 a year? Dollars a month. $300,000 a year. And so yeah. So then think about it. You're like, okay, so why would people want to do that? So what are all the ways you could bring value into their lives through this platform? With content, maybe with worship nights once or twice a week, prayer requests. Like, it depends what your niche, like, if you're in the worship space and you're wanting, to lean more into the spiritual side of things and do devotions with people and like lead them spiritually, lean into that. If you're an artist that maybe leans more into a different genre, then you look for other ways that you feel like your fans actually want to connect with you, and you find a way to build custom content around that. Or you could approach it from what Joey and I are doing right now, which is we want to show thousands of artists how to grow their careers and shave off as many years as possible and avoid all the headaches and the shortcuts and just get all the cheat codes, really, and just win faster, right? And you could do it that way. So there's so many different ways you guys can do it, but again, the beauty of being in this community is thinking like this, because who else is thinking? Like, we're thinking outside the box here on ways to fund the music career. Because if you can do that, Annie, then music just becomes the fun afterthought, right?
And this is something that I wanted to bring up in a post. I haven't written it up yet, but it's been something on my mind about, does your passion have to be your career? Or can it just be your passion? Like, does your passion have to be the thing that you like make the most money off of for your career? Or does it really matter? Can you have something else be your career and then you just release music because you love releasing music, and like you do that no matter what? I think that's kind of how we all started. It's like, I didn't. Mm-hmm.
How have you not shared this with us?
Share your recipes.
And we've known you this long. How you must be able to bake the greatest, tastiest little treats. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting, though? I find for myself that the more detached that I get from things, the more successful they become for me. Anyone else ever find that? Like, even with that piece of content where you're like, ugh, I really don't like this. Like, this kind of sucks. And then you're like, post it anyway. So you post it and you don't care. And that's the one that does really well, as opposed to the ones you pour like your heart and soul into. I think we were talking about this with you, Lenny, with like shooting with a phone versus really nice camera. Yeah, and that's a good point. So it's like, okay,
Wild.
so, and then you have to start to decide, like, okay, what is the goal? Do you want the song to get saved and perform? Or do you, like, that is the goal, is to get this music heard. So, okay, maybe there is a different strategy to start incorporating. But yeah, I think Joey brings up a good point. It's like, it gets weird when your passion starts to become your paycheck.
And I don't think there's one right or wrong answer. I think it's different for everybody, but it's something for everybody to just think about. What does it mean to you? Because I think it's different for everybody. I don't have a right answer.
I don't know how we got on this, but this is actually a really great topic. Was this you, Annie? Did you bring us onto this? Oh, yeah. But, okay. Yeah. But again, that's 1,000 true fans. Somebody willing to give you $25 a month. Do you know what that person probably has with you? Probably a close connection. They probably feel like they know a version of you that isn't just a voice behind a song. They probably feel like they know your story, they know your journey, that they're following along actively, that you're checking in on them and like offering value. Well, how can you do that? You could do that through a school platform. But let me ask you this. What would it be for 100 people instead of 1,000? I'm asking you a math question. Calculators out, everybody. Okay. Yep. Get your compasses out, Trace. Get your compass.
The compass.
He's like, okay. So you've got $100 times, 100 people times $25 a person. Okay. Well, first that would be times 30. So 100 people are paying you $25 a day. So for 30 days, that's 1 month. So $2,500, right? Am I right there?
Yeah,
Wow. What does this become? Okay, I'm gonna do it on it. Okay, I'm gonna.
We've been reading too many business books.
Yeah, this is true. Okay, I'm gonna do the math for you. So instead of 1,000 people, let's do this. You have 100 fans who are willing to pay you. Yeah, I was thinking daily. It's monthly, so paying you $25 a month. $2,500 a month times 12 months, $30,000 a year. Now, compared to the big $300,000 number that we're like, oh, that's less impressive, whatever. But let's be real, guys. Like 30 grand coming in from there, that supports you either living and like your full-time expenses, or you're still doing whatever your other job was, and you're in a little bit of a hustle season, and this is literally funding anything and everything with your music career. The gravy.
Yeah, you would call it gravy money. Poutine. I'm thinking poutine right now. That's that poutine money.
Or one really expensive song. Yep. And pocket that cash. Yeah. And this could even bring the conversation a little bit to something Joey and I were talking today.
Skill
stacking. And taking that money and instead of necessarily reinvesting it back into making a product or, an investment, a tangible investment, what if you made an investment in yourself with a new skill? So what Lenny just said is like, what if there's a producer who I work with that I could be like, yo, hear me out. I love working with you. I want to keep working with you, but what would it cost for you to build a demo template for me and teach me the basics, of building a demo and showing me how to do at least getting the puck this far towards the goal. And
Canadian
then,
reference.
and that was for all the Canadians.
You tracking with us? Yeah, you are.
And it's like, okay, if I can get it this far, then would you be able to skate in here and take the puck the rest of the way, and then hit the puck in the goal and win the game?
Hat trick.
Okay. She's like, I've overstayed my welcome. So this is the idea. It's a brilliant idea. That is why you'll also see, guys, in the artist roadmap, we started a course called How to Create Demos. And we're literally just interviewing producers in our network that create their own demos. You'll see one that Eleni did. She's showing you all her game on how she is coming up with their demos. Go watch it. There's some gems in there. Kagan absolutely offered so much value in his guys. He gave us 25, 30 different vocal filters that you'll just have to go check it out. They're all in Logic. He basically showed us how to do everything with Logic only plugins. We did one with Jay and his whole strategy, and we're having more. And so more and more artists are showing us, hey, here's how I create demos. And because I know how to create the demos, guess how much money it costs me to make music? Almost nothing compared to what other artists are having to pay for, right? So if you're wanting the best producers to be involved in every step of your song, you're probably spending $3,000 a song. Hopefully less. I would hope less at this phase of your careers. But we've heard artists spending much, much, much more than that. And the key here is also knowing what phase of your career you're in, when that is actually called for and responsible, and when that makes zero sense at all. But like Eleni said, it's like, what if you paid for that skill and now you can move faster, you can make more music, and you can make it more affordably, and you're probably sitting on some money and you just have a little bit more peace of mind. And that's just with producing. That's just with demos. What else could you do with that? What's another skill you could stack, Joey? Relevant for an artist.
I mean, going off of that, the next level after that is time management. Because if you look at our situation, if we produced every single song that we released underneath the Anthem Co., we would have 10 songs a year. So the next level after that, again, like a lot of you guys are not trying to start your own, well, you guys are starting your own collective, Annie, so you might run into this issue, but it's like if you wanted to release more songs per year than what your capacity is to produce your own stuff, you're going to have to learn how to let go of your own production abilities and hire other people's time and do that. But that's probably the next level of that. I would say we have a huge, because we were just going down back from the beginning, what are all the skills that we had from the beginning?
Oh gosh. Yeah, so this is stuff that we were having a conversation, guys, about, man, there are so many things that we do behind the scenes of music that most people have no idea we're doing. And I think the same would probably be for you guys as well. It's like, you're probably like, there are a million things that I'm doing behind the scenes of my music career that the fans are completely unaware of. And we were just trying to get an idea of that for, what we want to teach to you guys. And I don't even know if I feel like going into all.
We were just talking about, I need to sit down and actually write it all out because I'm curious. But from the beginning, it's like you learn music theory. I learned piano when I was under 10, and then I learned guitar starting at 10. And then I went to college, met him, and then I joined a band, and I learned what it was like to be on the road touring and all of that, being a good hang. And at the time, I started dabbling in making content, capturing content, And then from that point, I dabbled into, okay, what does it look like to build a website for the band? And this was all while I was in college. Then we got a manager, learned the hard things about that. And I was like, what is management about? And then we signed with a weird label that was not really good. And we're like, okay, why was this a bad deal with master and publishing? What is this? And so like over just the span of like 10 years up until that point was all of those skills.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then while you were doing that, so I started in concert promotion and, partnering with churches to bring in these Nashville Christmas tours, and then ended up going and working for one of the bands and being the road manager and the tour manager and seeing that perspective of it. And then actually ended up going and working at that exact same booking agent, booking out the artists and doing the tours and seeing the third angle of that triangle of relationships of people putting on shows, people paying to bring in shows, the artists and the managers managing the shows, and like all of that, and seeing, and starting to see what the road life is like, and then what these, being in a band and going out on the band and being the tour and actually having to do all this stuff. And like you just start putting all these pieces together, right? But every time you add another piece, it stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks. And pretty soon it's like, oh, I feel kind of lethal. Like I can hold my own. Like if I needed to, on my own, like I could do this thing. If I needed to go get a 9 to 5, I feel like I've built up a skill set now where I could hold my own and go to somebody and say like, no, like here's all my experience. I think it's pretty obvious that like Joey and I, if we're ever hiring for the company, we very much prefer experience over like a piece of paper that says, I've spent 4 years at the college versus, hey, look at all the skills that I've stacked over the past few years and they all work together. Like even something as simple as learning Adobe Premiere or learning how to edit your videos and edit your content.
Well, know how to work a nice camera. How to, like, I think we were talking, who was I talking to? Yeah, it was on the call yesterday with Eleni, just like our experience. Him and I worked at churches, and then Eleni being experienced with that. Dang, what are we looking at? Some AI.
What do you have to share, Trace?
What do you got, Trace? What do we got?
I feel like we caught a student passing notes.
Oh yeah.
He's like trying to get work done. He's like, these guys won't shut up. They're still going. But we are going to have to kick you out of the community now.
You're disruptive. You disrupted the class.
We're going to ask you to stay after class and write lines.
Detention. What were we talking about? Skills? Oh, we were talking about our experience because we worked at churches and the ability to know what kind of tech was in the sound route and like what you're looking at here and what this next stage of our content strategy has stemmed directly from that for us. Multiple cameras and miking and streaming and all that stuff. I learned that from, honestly, COVID. 2020 was like when I learned all that stuff when I was working at the church. So, yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
I think they're bored. Are they bored?
Canadian or U.S.? That gravy one. Hmm. I don't think there's a right answer. I can give my opinion. I have an opinion.
When
on
did you buy this gear? Was this before you blew up on Instagram or after?
Are you willing to share what you spent on the gear? Like, cool. No, that's a chunk of change. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's a chunk. Especially for an artist that hasn't broken through majorly on the streaming yet. Yeah. Until dun dun dun.
The reason why I asked if you did it before, I was like, did it land you a 17 song project with us based on the quality? This was after.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, no, it absolutely does. I think you do it once you realize that it makes sense for you. And again, where it's a little bit different with everybody, not everybody has that entrepreneur spirit in them. You know what I mean? Like for some people, they would much rather have things done for them. More cookie cutter, like, I don't know if cookie cutter is the analogy there, but let me ask you this. Like, okay, so $4,500 to buy that gear. At that time, what did it cost you to produce a song? Yeah. So basically 75% of that was already just going to go into one song. So in the grand scheme of things, that seems like a great move. I kind of view everything like this. And this is just me. You can give your take. You guys all might have your own takes, but I first would prefer to get my toes wet in the water, paying other people, getting to watch them do the thing, help me do the thing. And then once that entrepreneur thing in my head clicks of like, okay, wait a second, like I need to move faster. And if I have this skill, you can pay to acquire it or pay to upgrade the equipment, or like, oh, the only difference between me and that producer is that they have all the really nice equipment. Oh, maybe it's time for me to buy the really nice equipment and delay the gratification of being able to release all my songs very frequently and first skill stack for a season. But again, it all comes down to number one, what type of artist do you want to be? Do you want to be the DIY artist, the entrepreneur artist? Or are you wanting to be the artist that is looking to have a team right out of the gate and delegate all of that stuff off? Elena, you're very DIY. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a freedom thing.
I think the hardest thing for creatives, and even talking about myself, is like seeing all the rabbit trails that you can go down and saying no at a certain point, and like determining how far you want to go down that rabbit trail. So for example, could I learn how to, produce a song? Yes, I believe I have the capacity to produce songs and become a producer.
We did for a little while too in the beginning.
And we did in the beginning. We did what we had to do to get songs out because we couldn't afford to pay anybody. And I saw the people that were doing it that were legitimate, like people who cared about producing, and it is a money trail to go down that way. But in order for me to like justify to go down that rabbit trail, I had to like commit to being like a producer long term.
Money
like,
trail spending or making?
Spending. It is a money trail of plugins and gear, and like it's endless. Like you could be spending thousands of dollars just to raise your quality by like 5%, at the end of the day. And if that is a rabbit trail that you choose to run down, then go for it. There are producers. Can everybody hear me? I feel like I lost. Okay. Okay.
No, you're just boring everybody.
No,
it's fine.
I was like, everybody's gone.
I don't know. It just switched all their pictures up.
For example, as a creative, one of the most painful things, and this is for the sake of output, I would rather have the team as a whole succeed and have more output. For example, for Anthem worship, could I fight really hard to play guitar on every single song? Yeah. Could I keep up with it? No. And so the hardest thing is saying no to that thing where it's like, I'm in this next season now, even though I love playing the instrument, but I would rather sacrifice that for more output for the team. And that means we can have multiple songs be, in production at the same time. And so at some point within the last couple of years, I had to say no to pursuing being a guitar player and say yes to pursuing the music business side and like this whole education thing and grow into something bigger than what I thought I would ever be. But the problem is if I just dove straight into the guitar playing world, I could be doing that. Could I do it and do it well? Yeah. Like I like to put 110% effort into what I do. But that's a whole nother money trail. Like I could be buying more guitars and more gear. And that's like one of the hardest things as a guitar player. I don't know if Trace would resonate with this. You're only as good as your next guitar that you buy. Like it's an endless there it is. So I don't know if this gives you any context, but I think the hardest thing is saying no to things and really focusing on the one thing. And that's kind of our motto right now. As the Anthem Co., we've said no to a lot of things already this year.
We had to let go of this great artist named Lenny that we... Did we break the news to that?
I don't think we told her yet.
Oh, shoot, okay. Yes. I'm reading off the wrong to-do list right now. I'm sorry, Lenny.
This is the wrong meeting. The wrong meeting for that. No, we canceled a lot of things that we had planned for this year because the one thing for us this year is growing this network and trying to pack as much value into the courses and make this as good as it can possibly be.
Caveat, while still maintaining our growth with Anthem Records, with Anthem Worship and Mass Anthem, and still handling marketing for artists.
That is quite literally...
Those are the three things.
That is quite literally the only three things that we kept. Is releasing music and everything is open on the marketing stuff. But as far as pursuit of new things, we basically, this is the most locked in that we've ever been this year. Yeah. It's like if you could do one thing this year, that if that one thing were true, it would change everything this year for your thing. And that's the thing that you need to be working on. And sometimes you just have to let go of certain things. Like, yeah.
historically, I'm the one that has shiny object syndrome in this duo. I'm what I call myself an opportunist, where it's like, there's so much opportunity everywhere. This is an opportunity. That's an opportunity. And it's finally gotten to the point where it's like, they're exhausting. Pick a few. Tonio. Atanzio. That's Joey's last name.
Fettuccine.
Atanzio. Elephant. Earlobe. Education. Elementary.
W's in the chat.
I'm just listing words that start with E. Named. Yeah. Oof, that's good. But you know what though? That's probably why you get along so well with me and Joey though. With this yeah, between the two of us we do, but we also like balance you out pretty well yet. But you, and like you pointed out though, it's like sometimes like you get to a point you're like, oh, I know exactly who I am now, and now I know exactly who balances me out, you know. And it's like, oh, maybe I am to that next phase of entering a season of support from somebody that can balance me out a little bit. Yeah, that's a great share. I'm gonna have to look that book up. I have not read that. Yeah. That's a good share.
That's interesting. I feel like you and Jason are the same. I feel like
I'm similar to Lenny. Absolutely. Yeah. But, yes. I've been learning to reel it back in. Reel it back in. I'm getting better. Huh? All right, we all agree Trace is the weird one in the group. Thank you for thank you for acknowledging. It's in the chat.
W's in the chat. I saw $25 somewhere when I clicked on it. Is that right?
This is dude, this is Bridgerton. This is the Bridgerton narrator. That was so good, Eleni. Good. I feel like we could have her do an opening to the album, like a red or we're not giving you the keys to the kingdom yet.
Braun.
What was that last part?
What did she say?
Catch it on the replay. Okay. Well, guys.
Well,
does anybody have any follow-up thoughts on any of this? This was actually a really good call tonight. I'm glad we got through this whole concept of skill stacking, and maybe some homework for you all this week is just something to think about as you're going throughout your days, working on your music and everything. Is, are there any opportunities presenting themselves to you to skill stack? And I guess the follow-up question to it would be, one, does it make sense to invest your time and your energy into acquiring this skill? Long-term, do you need to be the one to have this skill? Or maybe recognize the places where you're actually in an opportunity to pass off the thing, like Joey was saying, and potentially, flex the skill of being able to pass a task off, perhaps. Just some stuff to be aware of.
One concept that Jared, our mentor, has told us is the concept of firing yourself. And it's kind of what I mentioned in the post, but it would be really nice for you guys to pick a target ahead of you to work towards of a role that you would fire yourself from. And it could be a thing that you care about, meaning that you are getting help. It's just another way of finding help. Some of you for example, are bringing on people that can help you with your social media calendar, that gives you more time to focus on the thing. Working on the business, not in the business, is what the other thing Jared would say. So, and that thing is that sometimes it's hard to fire yourself because it could be something you actually care about, but it could be the very thing that is preventing you from growing your thing. That's all I have.
Reminder, we are still running the competition for the highest referrals
And so far,
to the network.
everybody is losing.
However, you're also all winning.
You're all winning, but you're also
But
all losing.
It cancels out because you're also all losing.
You're all tied.
For 0. so it's not going great. There is a $100 bonus by the end of the month for whoever does win that, which would appear to be one person.
Does everybody win if we're all at 0? Does everybody win?
Don't think that's how that works. Divided up evenly. So there's that. Yes.
Like a webinar.
It's a great idea.
That is a great idea.
Annie, nice idea. Yeah,
I'm losing it.
It did deserve,
A little behind there.
Did deserve that.
That deserves. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think we would be open to that. I don't see why not. It's quite literally just hopping on and doing what we like to do, is talk about music and everything. Annie, do you have a few people that would want to do that? Have you showed them the about section?
Yeah, I don't know if
you
guys know, but this would be a great time to mention this. The about section right before you join has a booking link. Our booking link
At the very
so
bottom.
if they have questions about the group, they can click that and schedule a time. It's like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They can experience the whole thing for 7 days. And they can join this call on a Tuesday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So can they see my screen?
No.
I'm gonna have to figure this out.
Well, we're gonna have our
Okay, you guys can see this?
operations assistant running it, but yeah.
Yeah. So this right here at the bottom of the about section, still got questions, book a call. They can click that and it takes them to a free booking page where they can schedule a call with us and we'll hop on and just explain everything.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, we only bot people's music. That's what we do.
Just straight bot.
Yeah.
No.
We're a botting
Clip.
company.
Diana, please clip
Please
this.
clip this and post this on
please.
the internet.
Fantastic. No, we try not to push our services down your throats. You know, we don't want that to be the whole purpose of this network. We tend to find we enjoy the anti-sales where it's like we'd rather develop the relationship and build this information when you guys are ready. You want to ask, you can ask us. That being said, yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe someday we can chat more about that with everybody. Or, you know, again, if you guys are actively looking for that stuff, or like Annie, even if you have questions about that, dropping that question in the community section is also a great a great spot potentially for that too, where we can just chat about it and pin that for everybody to see. Yeah.
Yeah. The season that we're in right now is like we're just trying to provide as much value without, like, for example, trying to sell you marketing packages. But for the people that are curious, it's still live, still active.
And again, not to say that it's a bad thing, because
Not a bad thing.
these algorithms, you know, if you go through, and again, like if you guys go into the artist Anthem roadmap and you go into the how to win at Spotify course that we're always updating and everything, if you read through that, you're gonna really start to understand how these algorithms work and why it is that we even offer these marketing packages in the first place. But again, it all depends which phase you are in your career, where you're at, which songs you're ready to promote or not promote. So if you ever do have questions about any of that, feel free to reach out to us directly or
DM us
or make a community post or whatever, and we'll tell you everything that we know. Well, it's been fun, gang. Thanks for joining us. Glad you're all here.
We are working on that right.
I feel like Trace is always the one that's like, so my hat.
So how about them hats? The good news is we have hats. The bad news is it is at our operation assistant's house, and she's not in town at the moment. So
if it makes you feel any better, I still can't even get the hats that I want because I was the last one to choose out of the demo hats.
Hey.
And this was the only one left that looked decently cool.
When you're the one that's handling all the orders and placing them and messing with the
so I'm still waiting for
prototypes,
cool
you get the first
well.
dibs.
And then I finally drive 45 minutes to Spring Hill, and lo and behold, she's in Wisconsin. No, Illinois.
No, she's
in Illinois. Yeah.
Soon. The goal is to have the Shopify that all set up on the Shopify store. Once we figure out shipping.
Yeah.
And all that. So one thing at a time.
Yeah. Coming soon. Well, gang, good chat. We'll catch you on the next one. And then Trace, hang on for 1 second to the very end. Por favor.
Detention.
Goodbye, guys.
See you later.
Writing lines. And
wrong button.
That one. Bam. Wait.